doing today, man? And I'm going to tell you, I don't know, something. Something to do with my app. Okay, so yesterday I started working on trying to get the game plan functionality implemented. I was starting to work with UI into my Unity project. And honestly, kind of struggling with the best design for that. Okay, so as you know, working on the phone is a small area. You've only got so much space to do stuff, right? Now, there's plenty of real estate there if you scroll and you do stuff like that. But ultimately, here's the deal with game plan, right? The game plan's scenario is to be able to set particular situations in a game. Fourth down and 3, greater than 50 yards to go with less than 10 minutes, right? You know, something like that. So you got these sets of conditions. You've got the down, you've got the distance to goal, you've got the you got the down, the distance to a first, the distance to goal, how much time is remaining, and what are you trailing by. These are all the scenarios, trailing or leading by, that you would have to contend with. Now, in the UI I have for the website, it's really a list. It's kind of I don't know. I feel like I want it to be more gamey. If there's one place where gamey is good, it's not food. It's it's in games, right? You want your the feel of. I'm trying to find a example of my current game plan. Okay, so here's kind of what it looks like. I use this in the crowdfunding. Doggone it. Didn't want it to open there. Sorry, I was sneezing. Okay, so this is kind of how the game plan looks. I don't have it opened right now. I didn't want to load it at the moment, but this is how the game plan kind of looks in the web UI. And you can see the top is basically all your conditions, right? You've got down, you can set, you've got your distances to first down or to goal, whether it's greater than or less than. You've got how much minutes are in the half, which could make a different effect on what you would do versus minutes in the game. You know, you may take more risks. You'll probably take more risks in both, but you're going to take a really high risk at the end of the game if you're trailing. Um, Now, coming up with a good way to make that compressed, because again, even on a web page, this is a good size piece of information to be able to be readable, right? Oh, let me hide this piece here for now. Oh, wrong one. What have I got showing here? Okay, so what you've got here is what's going to be a list. So if you want to make a game situation or game plan for every offensive scenario. So my goal is to have a default game plan. Now this is the game plan that the game just runs on. If you don't ever put in anything into this, your team will still do stuff. But it's basically going to be as generic of a game plan. You know, you're going to have fourth down. If it's less than 40, they kick a field goal. Or 40 or less, they kick a field goal. If it's greater than 40 yards to go to the goal, it's a punt. That's all it's going to be. No ifs, ands, or buts. It doesn't matter when it is. It's crap. Now, I will have custom game plans that UI teams use, which will be a little bit more formidable, a little bit more customized. But maybe I'll create what I call coaching game plans. So all coaches are going to have tendencies and things that they do. So maybe I'll have game plans that are just all attached to the coach, and you can just use your coach's game plan. Let him pick the plays. And or you can go in here and just create your own game plan, which works with the coach. You would have to hire a coach. If you want him to solely use your choices, then you would hire a coach that just goes with the flow. I mean, he's basically your puppet. However, if you use a coach that isn't your puppet, who's got some kind of control or has their own game plan, then they work together. You get your priority. You're the boss, right? So what's basically going to happen is when you have preferred plays and favored plays, the coach has those as well. And what's going to happen is there's 4 plays that are selected on any given play. It's going to be your first, and it's going to be your first. And actually, it's not even that. And I'm still trying to decide what the weighting is going to be. But of those 4 plays, you've got a 75% chance, say. I haven't decided on the final weightings, but 75% chance that one of those 4 plays will be your preferred play type. Your second choice will be in there as an option as well. So you can do favorite play type, which is easier. I want to run or short run, run right, run left. I think that the play types go as far as to like directional runs and distance passes, screens, short distance, medium distance, long distance. And so I don't even think the passes are directional. So that's just your generic play types. But you may have a favorite play, like I really want to run this play on 4th down and 2, like maybe you have the brotherly shove. I haven't created that play, but I'm just saying you may have some play that you like quarterback sneak, which is really what that is, right? They call it the brotherly shove as of last year, when you have all your players just push forward. And they were highly successful with it. Teams just couldn't stop it. So it's basically QB dive on 4th and 2 or something. So if you want to put that in for your 4th down, it'll be a favored play. Doesn't guarantee they're going to call it, but what it does is it gives it a high percentage chance of being one of the plays called. And then of those 4 plays that get selected, then there's another selection. All right, so there's one of the 4 plays, and then the coach will actually pick of those 4 plays. It'll pick one of the plays. Is it equal chance? No, it's weighted even at the top. So your plays have a better chance of being picked even in that scenario. But it becomes all the plays get a better chance of those 4. So there's a high percentage chance that your play will be picked, but it's not a guarantee. So there are times when your coach is going to do something you didn't want him to do, unless you pick the coach that does your will, or you have a high. I may even have a toggle that allows you to adjust a little bit how weighted your preferred plays are, your favorite plays are. I don't like having absolutes. It's not realistic. Teams don't do absolutes. They change their minds. Situations happen. And to me, it's like, if you want an absolute, then you have to be your coach. So you have to play the head-to-head. You have to play the coach. You could do it, and then when the plays, what it'll do is it'll still pick from your game plan and put your plays up in your front, but you pick the one you want, and you can always pick that one. So certain types of plays are always going to be in there. There are fixed. There are logic for how these plays are going to go. But ultimately, I want to have it be clean on the UI. And on a phone where your device is only so big, having a list like this is going to be kind of clunky. And I'm not even a huge fan of this, but this is the best way to get that info out there that I have been able to come up with. I started playing with some other options as to what can I do to make this work on a phone, or even on a phone that's open, a tablet like this. If I'm designing, as you've noticed, for a foldable phone, because a lot of games don't design for foldable phones. What they do is they might make the screen surroundings bigger. but they cut off a lot. There's a lot of games I can't run right on like my Fold, because they're not designed. The aspect ratio is not configured for a foldable phone. They're designed for phones like this, where they're mostly wide. So they're designed for a wide phone, or tall. So they're designed for a lot of space vertically. And they're cut off. In other words, they might adjust width-wise for a tall phone, a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner, and they're designed for that. But if you don't have enough vertical real estate, you won't see some of the buttons on the phone. Like if I have it open like this, when you expand it to a certain point, the bottom buttons would disappear, especially if you're working on it like this. So what would happen is certain parts of the phone wouldn't be present because it expands to fit the area. Now the bottom buttons aren't on the screen anymore because it's expecting an aspect ratio that reaches further down, taller. And that's not ideal, obviously, for a foldable phone. You want it to be able to be smart enough to be able to build itself into whatever your aspect ratio is. And that's kind of what I've been building my app for. And some things look good that way. So far, the things I've done look okay, but I don't know how that's going to look for lists and such like that, because they're going to get squished or expanded. And I am designing for landscape, by the way. So my game will work with landscape, which means I have to consider that if you're working landscape on a phone like this, that it works on this. So actually, a foldable is the perfect device to design for, because, especially a Samsung phone, because they're really skinny phones when you're using the outside screen. So if your app can fit on this device, then it's going to fit pretty much any other device, right? Because they're going to be just a little taller. It's really what's going to come out to. If you're doing landscape, it's going to be just a little bit taller. And so you got a little bit more room, a little bit cleaner, but otherwise you're pretty much working pretty well. If you're having any fixed aspect ratios, plan for the smallest scenario, right? It's always what you want to do. If you're doing fixed aspect ratios, if your game can't configure itself or doesn't work well in a dynamic aspect ratio, then you have to go by the smallest possible thing. And a lot of them just don't consider that this aspect ratio is abnormal. This is an abnormal aspect ratio both ways because of the width and the height that comes with this. Hey Nintendo, how you doing, man? So if you're going to design, you always got to design an app that fits this. So I'm working with the game plan, trying to get it to work. Hey Kurama, man, both of you guys. Hey, how's it going, guys? If you're working with an aspect ratio of this size, and size, and generally not just the aspect ratio, but the size in general, this is pretty tiny, right? That's not a lot of space. This is skinnier than almost every phone I think I've seen nowadays. Other than, dumb phones, foldables and flips that don't do as much. And hey, if you're going to try to run my game on a Samsung Flip, I'm sorry. I'm just going to apologize right now. Probably not going to work good, or probably not going to look great if you're using it on a flip phone. even a Galaxy flip phone, I don't know how anybody works on a flip phone. I don't know what runs on a Galaxy flip phone, to be honest. It's basically this, right? It's basically this, and it folds in half. So I guess if you open it, you can kind of work with it, but I wouldn't expect it to work in the folded form factor. Now, folded form factor is cool. They're small, they're compact, but probably I would probably say, if you're trying to work on it in a little square foldable area, yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna look like you're playing with you're gonna need a magnifying glass and a pen to be able to work with it. But anyway, So coming up with a good layout for the game plan has been a challenge. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that on the phone. It works good like this on the web page, and it kind of like has a decent feel, but I struggled. I struggled to get yeah, I struggled to get these a good feel for the appearance just on the web page, which by the way, you have a lot more room. So I have the down, the distance, minutes and half, minutes in game, leading by, and setting up leading by is still kind of a pain because you're not always leading, right? So leading by more or less, and so I had to use negative numbers. So if you're leading by less than 0 is not good enough, right? Because if you're leading by less than 0, that's trailing. That's just general trailing, but if you're trailing by 3, you're gonna do things differently than if you're trailing by 20, right? So you have to say, like, if you want to do less than, if you're trailing by 20, you have to have like a leading by less than, 17, less than negative 17 to actually create a game situation that applies by that. I don't like the concept of trying to say leading by negative. So I almost need to, I may even change that, have it be like a leading by, trailing by option, because it becomes a condition where I don't want to have negative numbers, and I just think it's funky, and it's awkward. It's not the most intuitive, right? To say leading by negative whatever, or less than, or more than, or whatever. So maybe you would act the same if you're leading by more than -3, which is to say you're trailing by -3 or you're leading, so but that would make sense in concept, but you trying to build that onto the screen. My current setup on the website handles that scenario. It's just not intuitive to say leading by -3 or more. that just It just doesn't work, right? So yeah, some people might figure it out, and yes, you could do a little dialogue that explains, but you want it to be more logical. So then you try to take this, which is done in a compact way as I can for a bigger screen, and try to do that on here. Now, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options going all the way across here that all have to have text you can read, and then on top of it, you got to have all the little text pop in things you got to fill out. It just feels cluttered. And so trying to come up with a good way to do that. So that's where I kind of come into my alternate layout options. And I've been trying to sketch something up. And let's see, do I have my OneNote here? Yeah. I have, let's see. Oh yeah, I know. Let's open up my OneNote. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm trying to come up with. And now keep in mind, when I sketch stuff, it's not pretty. So don't expect the design expert. Oh, I see what the problem is. Look at the wrong thing here. Hold on. Artistic beauty. This is why I've said this before. I am not a I'm not an artist. If I was an artist, I wouldn't be so afraid of being able to do all this graphic stuff. But what I am generally pretty good at is this sort of thing, which is organizing and making things low. Okay, so there we go. Just a minute. I can get there. Okay. What is this thing? Hello, what are you? Oh, I guess that's a thing too. Let's go ahead and close that. All right. So let me see if I can make this fit on the screen a little nicer. No, this is not finished, by the way. This is just me trying to start a hackathon. Just trying to make things look a little better on screen here. Just a minute. All right. So here's me trying to design. You're gonna be. So what I'm doing here is I have my external Surface Pro, and this is a Surface Pro 4. It's my old computer, and I have OneNote open on here so that I can draw, pen plus paper, right? And then it'll show up on it'll sync every so often, and it'll appear on the screen in front of you. I know. It's the theory anyway, if I can actually get it to. Oh no. I think. Hold on. This, I was doing this just earlier today, so I know it works. But for some reason, I can't get my keyboard to pop up. My camera's not working. Nothing's working. It's like, when you're trying to do something live, everything goes down the tubes. It's like, what do you mean you can't recognize me? And I can't seem to type into my. Jeez, there it goes. It says my battery's low. I don't know why. In fact, it's not low. What are you talking about? It says it's full. What do you mean my battery is very low? What? I got a screen here. It says battery's very low, but down here I have a battery thing here that says battery icon that says it's full. That battery says 100%. So unless my battery, okay, so this device is ancient, right? So I mean, it's a 4. So what is that? We're at 11 now or 12. So a 4 is 7, 8 years old. So that's old for PCs. That's like ancient. But anyway, it still functions. Okay, I think it's working at the moment. So here's my idea. I'm going to throw this out there. Hopefully, you guys paying attention, you can give me your feedback. So instead of this grid-like layout, I'm still going to have the offense, defense, special teams, and the title. But I'm thinking what I'm going to have is a main page that is a filter. That is really just what situations do you have currently. So on the right, I'm thinking the list of situations you have that fit that filter. Okay, so you'll have your downs and you'll either put in like a 1 here. Your distance is, probably have a box that goes here, and any of this stuff appearing on screen. Hopefully at some point it'll appear. I expect. I don't know how quickly this stuff's supposed to sync. Sometimes things sync fast, sometimes they don't. So keeping this, just making sure that I stay connected to the Wi, to my Wi-Fi would be good. Um, it says it's connected, so I don't know. How long is it going to take to sync this? Now I did this. I've done this before, so don't. It's not like this is a first time attempt at this, but some days things are stupid. There you go. Hopefully I don't have to do that all the time, but we'll find out how this works. So let's make this bigger, for me anyway. The idea is that I'm going to have a way for you to like pick your down distance. I don't know how to spell distance. I know, sorry. Um, you can put in, greater than 3. I don't know. And then this thing would pop up your various plans. So like, um, I don't know, what's a good plan here? Leading by 7, I don't know. Or the problem here is, here's other thing. I don't know what to title these, because a situation isn't, you can't give it a title. It'd be stupid, right? I mean, you don't want to name every situation. There's 1,000 situations. You're gonna put in 20 different ones. You're gonna give them all different names. No, that's silly. So, what is the situation? What I Man, I don't know. See, this is what's gonna make it hard. So I could probably put in like sub descriptions, like leading by -7. So no, see, that's not gonna work. So I have a leading by or trailing by, like leading by 7, and see, this is why it's hard to come up with a design. This is why I stopped last night, because I was like, I gotta come up with a layout that works. Leading by 7, fourth, and let's see. We're gonna have it. Maybe it's like something like fourth, less than 2. Um, then the other thing would be to goal, right? So do we say greater than 40? And you would just have to know that's 40. Maybe something like goal greater than 40. And we do like a pipe divide, and then 15. I don't know, man. 2 minutes. See, I don't know. It's just going to be so hard. And then you got to be what? Trailing by 7? showing by 7. It'd be just, it would look very cryptic. To put all the conditions in a title. And then I was thinking, okay, well, you click on one of these. I'm taking this off. And then you click on one of those, and then you get like a bigger screen. That's, what is it? I don't know, what's a good zoom? And then you can't see that, can you? So if I go there and then I put in another box that zooms out to another page, and now here is where you would like put in your down, distance, and time. 4. And then you put in the various conditions on here, which would be like, well, the down is easy. It's a single number. Distance is first, and then goal. You still have to put these text boxes in. And then you have score, time in half, and game. Same thing. You have to have the text boxes. But then you have score, then it's leading, trailing. I got to figure out how to do that. Probably some kind of an option. And then you have to go by the amount. Yeah, and then you have to have the less than, greater than. All of them have to have a less than, greater than. That's just too much information for a phone. This is why I was thinking I don't even know if I want to put game plans on a phone along with the play editor if it exists. I just don't know if I can get that onto a phone device. I wanna have it, but I don't know how to make this clean. And I really want to avoid ugly lists, but I don't know how to do that. There's too much in the way of options. By doing one situation at a time like this, then I was thinking this would be where your favorite plays are. You got your play type, and play. And you got option 1 and option 2. And this is the key element, right? Really, the whole point of a situation is to come up with a situation and what plays you want called or you want, considered in that play action. And it's really what it comes down to is what these options are. And then trying to come up with a way to make that visually acceptable. So I'm thinking you can click here, it would pop up, and you'd get a selection of, all the plays in your playbook could be picked from. So basically, maybe a pop-up that shows, your playbook. So it would kind of go, so for the plays, you get your playbook. Man, I don't know why I cannot write at all right now. Playbook selection. And this is just a play type, which isn't even visual, it's just a text. But it might say something like run middle or pass or, and that's kind of how you want, your basic play type, and then you have same thing. And you have your first and second choices. But I don't know. I'm really struggling with the layout to make this clean and not not clunky. Ugh, there's got to be a good way to do this. Like I said, I think it works good for the web page, but I could try to build it exactly like this. But I'm not sure that's better. so, so I mean, I guess if the screen is long, that's just to me, that's a lot of data, a lot of text across the screen. There's not usually a lot of text like that on any particular screen and even if I could put the text, see, I have some dead space in there, but then you got to have the sub menus underneath it, right? And you'd want to be able to do consideration. Sometimes what you do on 1st and 10 with 20 yards to go to the end zone is way different than what you would do 1st and 10 with 80 yards to go to the end zone. Maybe you'll settle in, start planning some runs. You'll do things a little different. And even then, those can change based on how much time is left. So you need all of these conditions to provide for a person to set their situations, whether or not they want to, what they're going to play. They may have different situations in their own mind of how they want to play the the game, given their own setups. And I want to give people that control. They can put whatever they want. Right now, that's an endless list right here. You can just create all the situations you want and know that I'm going to try to create a game plan that, although generic, will cover everything you don't cover here. So you can just create your special scenarios that matter to you. But how do I get a good setup? And yeah, I don't know. This is going to be interesting. And because a lot of your basic functionality in apps is on the phone just don't work right, don't look right. Games that have pop-up lists generally just don't look good. Pop-up lists are funky. I mean, have you ever gone to a website on your phone? Trying to deal with a pop-up list is weird. um I don't know. I don't most games most games don't really go in to, pop-up list functionality, right? I mean, you don't see lists. And if you do see lists in a game, I don't know, maybe this isn't going to work because tell you it was working last night, but again, why did it swap? I don't know how long it's going to take because this really doesn't know how to connect after I've reestablished connection. But I don't like pop-up lists on phones. They never look right. So there's got to be a solution that doesn't require lists in a game. Anyway. I guess. Is there a way? Maybe each section has its own little like pop-up, not a list, but like a little pop-up screen. So you can click down, you press down, and because I don't like text boxes, I like selectors, right? Selectors are good for phones. You can put in a number if you want, but a selector like is more, I don't know. For phone, it's just cleaner. So I wonder if I should do that. Like for distance, have it pop up a distance, and it'd be like, and then it would render it on the view. So you would only see 1, less than 10, and how do you render? How do you do goal? Just type goal less than 40? Because you can't say touchdown, right? I guess you could say 40-yard line or own 40, less than own 40, or less than. I mean, if you know football, to say less than own 40 or less or opposing 40, I don't know. I mean, that's hard. I like to say 40 yards to go to goal, 80 yards to goal, because then it's very straightforward. It's in your mind. You know how far you have to go to get a goal, to get to the goal line. If you start telling them what yard line they're on, football's weird, right? Because you could say own 30, visiting 30. I don't know. I mean, it's just you start having to figure out math in your head. Anytime you force people to do math, they're like, it's too complicated. So you want to get it down to where people don't have to do math. I mean, I don't have a problem with math, but I like straightforward too. I like I say, how far to goal, you could do a slider. I could put a little field up, and then a person can say, okay, if you're this far or that far. But then you can have it marked like own 30, own. Is it visiting 30? If you say visitor 30 or opposing 30, your own 30 or defensive 30. If you're on the goal line, I know it's always saying your own 30. And by the way, your own 30 is worse, right? Because if you're on your own 30, that means you've got 70 yards to goal. If you're on your own 10, that means you've got 90 yards to go. It's if you're on the defender's 30. What is the other side of the field called? What is it called? There's probably I don't know why I can't think of it. I mean, a football fan, you think I should know this. Um, so if you are on your own 30 in football, you have 70 yards to go. What is it when you are on the defensive defenders? Yo, It Defenders 30. I think it's opposition 30. Oppositions. Visitors. In football terminology, particularly American football, the field is often described relative to offense and opponents. Oh, it's opponents 30. When you're on your own 30, you're 70 away from scoring. But once you cross the midfield and are on your opponent's side of the field, that 30-yard line becomes opponent's 30-yard line. The 30-yard line in enemy territory, or simply the 30 if context is clear. Okay, so it's the opponent's 30. Okay, that makes sense. So still, and the thing is, my code or whatever I was doing, I was putting OPP, so it was probably intended to be opponent. Um, but design is key, right? It's got to, for me, it's got to look and flow cleanly. Getting it pretty, maybe not my skill set, but getting it clean, that is something that's important to me. So it's got to flow clean and not feel clunky. If you can do it without feeling like, oh, what a pain, then we're doing all right. And then if it at least, and then after that, I can put in backgrounds and other stuff to make it work. But the visuals have to be, the functionality has to be smooth. So the question is, do I think I have to play with it, which means I have to just go to it, man. I have to lay some stuff out and just see what it looks like. And the only thing that makes me hesitate with that is it's Unity. And I am not a Unity expert, as you well know. And that makes me nervous, I guess. But it's just because it takes longer because I got to put stuff in and objects in, and I got to try to copy what I've already learned and figure out how to make all this stuff work. Oh, never mind. It's already open, it says. There it is. Here we go. This is what my game plan looks like at the moment. So I gotta put something in here to at least make it look like I actually made it look like my playbook, which is strange because it doesn't look like that right now. I thought I here. Oh, let's go back. You know what? I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna drag that into my game plan panel. Do I do I necessarily feel like that's the best thing for that? No, but um, Oh, oh, Radial 360. I'm just trying to see what the difference is. I mean, I set the background, source image background is, I don't know. I'm just trying stuff. I don't know if I mean, do I really need to have that be on there? Like I just threw an image on there. See, that's the scroll background, but why can't I just put that in there? I feel like I can. So I got to go to my textures and see if I can. This one? Yeah, let's take that one. I'm going to try something. Yeah, see, it's already in there. So why do I need that? See, perfect. I don't even know why I did it the other way. Again, see, I don't always know what the heck I'm doing. Um, Now it is interesting that this isn't very clear, so it must be some amount of transparency going on here. Because it's doing something. Simple. Doesn't do anything. None of that does anything. Bottom left, radial, fill amount. Oh, I check that out. I can make it squish. Fill amount. Oh, preserve aspect ratio? How does that even work? Oh, no, I don't need that. Clockwise. Fill origins. This is like if it's just coming into the screen. Oh, you know what? Left. What does that look like? Oh, that's kind of cool. Because that would make my scroll look like it's unrolling. So if I was to set that, but what I would need to do is figure out a way to make it like have this piece of the scroll attached to it. So like when it opens up, it's like it starts at, like it should start at like this. Just visually, it'll happen quickly, so you won't really know. But it'll look like this. But then there'll be an image on there so that when it unscrolls, it stays on the edge right up until it comes here, and then it can disappear. So it basically hides. Oh, you know what? I think that's going to be kind of cool. I think I can do that. So I just need to anchor something, and then when it's sizing out, that image stays with it all the way till it gets to the end, and it'll look like the scroll is opening. That's what I want it to look like when you like open the page. You click on it and it just rolls out. Um, I have no idea how to do a book. Like it'd be cool if I could just have a, like it would start halfway with the book and then I'd have to have some kind of animation that opens the book, right? So that's different. But with a scroll, I can kind of fudge it. Huh. Oh, I like that. Now I don't know why this isn't bright. Why is this not bright? Oh, I see. I have a half transparent mesh going on here. There we go. I don't know why that was the case. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm using the scroll background on this one. It's like now that I know I don't need it, it's like that's kind of silly. That's silly, Willy. All right, so let's go to my game plan panel again. Now that I've got sort of something, and It's not that, it's funny, it's not that easy to toggle between things because you have to like turn one off like this, and then you have to go over here to the playbook and you have to turn one on. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to copy this because I do still need offense, defense, and special teams. So let's take that same filter panel. We're going to drag that into my game plan here. All right, so we're going to need that. That's important. But now I have to. Well, what's cool is that's probably already going to be in the right place, right? Yeah, it's already in the right place. Nope, it's not in the right place. Oh, that's why I used the whole. Oh, well. Uh, all right, let's take this raycast target off. Um, the the problem I had before is I think it was blocking up my screen. Why is that weird? It's not what that looks like. Hmm. I gotta go see what the heck is going on here. So let's just switch back. I'm still trying to figure this out. So, well, the playbook panel goes behind it. Oh wait. Right down. Yeah, the playbook panel goes behind it, but is that one already turned off? That one's not even interfering. Oh, because I put the navigation button manager on top. I guess that's true. I didn't think about that. But still, why is I don't know why that does that. Anyway, so we're going to go here. If I click on the unit filter panel, I want it to be in the same place so it looks relatively identical to that one. Means I need to maybe copy this. Just so I can look at it. Ugh. Notification. Oh, what's going on? All right. I don't know what that's. Snipping tool is trying to draw all over my screen. Okay, so we're going to go back over to my game plan here. And we're going to hide this because that's in my way. And we're going to go back to here. We're going to revisit that one. And then I'm going to click on this, which is weirdly off center. To the move tool. Nope. Why can't I move you? And I'm on the move tool. Why aren't I moving? Stretch, top stretch. We'll do top stretch. Can I go here? Top stretch. Top stretch. Why isn't it letting me change this? Am I running? No. What's going on? Let me change it. Why is this disabled? That don't make any sense. The associated script cannot be loaded. Please fix. No. I don't have a script. Is there an associated script to this? I don't even know what that is. Well, I'm having trouble finding. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's there. All right, so I don't know what the mono script is supposed to be. I don't understand why I can't edit this. Some values driven by grid layout group. Do I have a grid layout group? Who's got a grid layout group? Oh, there it is. Get rid of this. I don't want a grid layout group. There we go. I don't know what I needed a grid layout group on the unfiltered, on the unit filter panel for anyway. Still not quite understanding why I can't drag this anywhere. Huh. Oh, no. Oh, there it goes. Still kind of weird. All right, so we're going to stretch bottom here. Say, you have to do like a shift to make it a play. What is it? Yeah, there it goes. Something happened when I did that. It's kind of weird because it just has a weird. The right should be what? 0? And height should be 3? 100 is probably fine. Now, this is a little different because I'm using the Like, what is the... I think the Z position is the top position. Too low. Kind of weird how big it is, though, right? Like, it gets small. Like, it shrinks the more you drop it. That's kind of weird. Why is it doing that? The lower you drop it, the more it shrinks. That's a bizarre thing. So if I was to put this like at 700, or let's put it at 2000. See how tiny it gets? It's like it's shrinking when you move it. Why would the Z position make it shrink? I mean, it looks about right, but that's weird. It just feels weird. Is that because of the stretch? We'll look on this one. Yeah, I find this one isn't controlled by the group. It's really kind of strange. It's 0. But they are definitely not lining up the same. How tall is the, man, all kinds of nitty picky stuff, right? How tall is this? 120? I don't like how small these are. How come they're so small? It's way higher. That's higher within the panel it's in. What panel is it in? It's obviously not. Oh, so it's in, not in, not in it at all. What is that? Oh, that's the bottom panel. Okay, that's Playbook. Oh my God, jeez. I don't know. I just think, okay, I got to give it once again to those people who do this stuff all the time. It's impressive. I will say that. I'm going to rename this unit filter panel to Playbook. Maybe because if I don't, I'm going to get those confused in code. But so that's basically 103 height. and it's using top stretch. If I set this as 0, like it should be, height to 100, just to be a number I can work with. My left position is 168. I should be able to do the same thing. If I go here, click on that, and yeah, oh, also top stretch, but it's like it's centered differently. I think we're working off of different panels. Because even though it's supposed to be based on its thing, if I have 168 in here, I'm going to be in some weird, crazy spot. See how far off I am? So that's like not even close to the same. This moves me in, but I don't know what I'm zeroing in. So it's top stretch. What is my anchor points? Man, I'm trying to match to this and I can't even. So it's like 0, 1, 1, 1, 5, 5. 0, 1, 1, 1. Well, that's 0.5. I don't know how that's going to make a difference, but 0, 1, 1, 1, 0.5, 0.5. It's 168 and negative 200, but that's 0. And if I put negative 200 in here, where do I end up at? See, I'm like way off. So I don't know what it's in relation to. I'm obviously dealing with a different starting location here. What am I bound to? My game plan panels goes to the corner. That was a playbook panel. Huh. I mean, this has extra stuff in it, it's no doubt, but I don't understand why my unit filter panel is, what's it bound to? Relationally speaking, it should be the same. It's inside of the playbook panel, but so is my other unit filter panel, and it's not being the same. All that is fine. But how do I mimic? Totally different animal. I don't know why it's different. I feel like it must be in. I want to say it's inside of something else, but it's not. The playbook panel is the top level item. There's really no difference in this, except that I actually did stuff with the image. And my icons are so much tinier. Right? Apparently, copying does not create a copy. Just saying. You create a copy, you could get something that's just got the stuff in it, but it's not not the same. Because ideally, I copy this and drag it into here, and I get the exact same settings as though I'm putting it in the exact same thing, which it is not. Hmm. Yeah, I gotta make my things bigger. They're 80. Oh man, see, they're the same size too. So I go here, they're 80, 80, 80, and I go here, they're 80, 80, 80. And is there any other anchor different points? All 0.5s. Offense. Like literally, there's no difference in these except mine on this screen are different size than the ones on that screen. Why are these different? Doesn't make any sense. What are they doing? No, there's something about this panel. The layout should be identical. All right, I gotta go ask UI or AI. I don't think AI is gonna have an answer for me, but I am so confused right now because all I did all I did was copy this and then put it in here, so it should have all the exact same settings. $50 billion less. That's a big miss. Gee, Bill Gates is only worth 124 billion. Poor guy. Anyway, no, distracted. Sorry. Let's go to ChatGPT. Let's go see. Um, I am working in Unity. I have created a new panel, game object panel, at the same level as existing. You explain to me how it might be that when I copy a panel text with a filter multiple images that conflict. And place the copy inside of the new panel, a copy with the exact same rect transform positioning and more image sizes and image sizes. What's smaller and is positioned off in the same location. Panels themselves are identically positioned on the screen with one set. UI layout hierarchy influences. Even though two game objects, like panels, may have identical rect transform values and are siblings or appear at the same level, the parenting hierarchy and layout components can cause differences in position, scale, and appearance. Rect transform values are relative to their parent, even if two panels have identical position sizes. If the anchors or pivot points differ or their parents differ, the results on screen will vary. Are both panels under the same canvas? Yes. Yes. Are their anchor pivot values the same? Yeah, I think so. I mean, pretty sure I checked that. Let's go look. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Because the playbook here, yeah, 0011.5.5 and 111. And I go here. And see, yeah, nothing changed. All identical. In fact, short of the fact that I have this component attached, you would think they're the same thing I'm clicking on. You know, I've had a lot of questions on my Kickstarter about the project, but nobody has actually backed it. I mean, Indiegogo, I didn't get anything, not a question, nothing. Nobody. It was just crickets. And I was like, okay, well, this is not working. I tried twice on Indiegogo, zero interest. I got one guy, but it was only because somebody was following me on my stream, and they said, hey, I'll back you on your Indiegogo, and they did, but they were the only one, and wasn't enough to even fund. So, because Indiegogo, you can do that flexible funding where put whatever number in you want, but if you get anything, you get it. Well, it's not anything. It's actually $100 or more. If it's less than $100, you don't get it. So I was like, well, I guess I don't eat that day. I mean, I don't know, $100 what's that gonna do? It doesn't really even do much, but it's something. It just shows that somebody wants to support the project. But for whatever reason, these two things, which are in the same panels, essentially would look at them and go, they're identical. They have no differences. At the same level within, I have the background is the only difference there, which shouldn't have any effect on the sizing of the objects underneath it because they're not in the object. I'm not even sure why I'm using this scroll background. Because now that I know I can just attach it straight to the panel, there's no real reason for me to have it in there. But that said, this is the playbook panel that's got all the stuff underneath it, but you can see all that is below. And then we have this guy, the unit filter panel, which you know, it's just sitting there. But when I went and dragged and copied I dragged a copy of it right here into this, it totally looks, it's totally not the same. Even with the same settings, I don't get it. And to look at this, it's about, look how tiny it is. Why is it tiny? Plus the other one is not centered. This is got the same top stretch transform. And if I go click on this one, see how it's like off screen? Why does it go off screen? I love with Unity how it doesn't always make sense. See how big my icons are here? And then each individual icon is 80. This guy is 150 top stretch. It just says top stretch. All right, I'm gonna try this again. Control C. Can I do that? Can I just copy it? Control C. And we'll go here. Paste. Oh, we need you to be inside of there. And then we're gonna go here. Make you visible. Here. Delete you. That looks the same. If I don't touch it. Don't touch. Looks right. Don't touch it. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. Except I gotta change the name. Hopefully changing its name is not gonna break anything, but I'm gonna put a GP on there, game plan. Just so that it looks okay, so that's it. All right, so we got our buttons. Hopefully they'll work the same. Toggling on both. Except I'll have a different filter. So, but I think it's going to show up as a different panel object. So we'll see. What we need now is to actually start putting in a layout. I am starving. I need food. Oh, well, I've been at this for 90 minutes. We'll go 2 more minutes, just so I can be a nice, even 90 minutes. And then I think I'm going to take a break and go eat some food. So I could probably burn 2 minutes just blathering around. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. What's that song? Blah, blah. An oldie. I'm trying to think of the next that verse comes in. Like I don't know. See, I'm wasting. I can waste 2 minutes doing anything. Okay, so we need to put in I guess for now we'll try and see what it looks like if I just add in like the text objects and start making some kind of a layout. We'll just start copying stuff. So we're gonna go Make that visible. So what are those? Oh, they must be really deep in there. Okay. So my current setup for the game plan is if I just was to say I'm going to start with it looking like this, I'm using the icons for that part though. Offense, defense, special teams. I don't need that. So we're just going to start adding in these things, I think. And just going to go Control B. We'll just add it because I want it because it has the same text and I just want to keep it consistent. It's just easier to go into the new game plan. And you know what? I think I'm going to create a game plan panel, which is the whole thing. We'll call it situations panel or something like that. Call it situation panel, situations panel. And then that one, I'm going to hide this first of all. This all the way up to here. And just to make sure everything stays within the window. I don't want it to be why can't I get the bottom of the sure, we'll go with that 200. Now I probably should put in a vertical scroll bar because that's going to be needed. We'll put a scroll view inside of there. We're going to add UI. Is it scroll view from UI? Scroll view. And I'm going to make that. Well, we're going to have a piece that's just under the titles. All the titled stuff is going to go there, but the scroll view is going to go underneath here. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to position that down. Say what? -100? Too much. It might not be too much, but it's a nice round number. Like that's my measurement. It's got to be round. If it's not round, it's kind of difficult. My brain can't work in abstract decimal points. You're like, dude, get over it, man. But it's so much harder. So we're gonna go stretch this way. And No, not bottom. Let's go bottom stretch. I don't know what it matters. Bottom stretch just allows it to be, it's based on the bottom. That's really all it means. So the center point is 563 from the center. I don't like that. I just don't like the idea that I have to figure out how far it is from the center. I want, what if I, let's do that. We'll say 0 here. Nope, that didn't work. How come I can't get this to line up on the bottom? There's got to be a way to line this up on the bottom. Then I have to see. I don't know what the bottom is. It's like, stop it. How do I do that? The bottom, it says bottom is 0 here, so there's no. Oh, that does. What does that do? I don't do anything. I'm over. Maybe I am at 0 on the bottom already. Okay, I may already be where I want to be. Got this weird little icon. I think that's what's throwing me off. All right, we'll leave that at that. And I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to go eat. Till next time. I'll be back probably for a couple hours at least before family gets here and we do our 4th of July thing. But I definitely have some more work